Guess what?
Epic update
It's Epic
time.
Updates. We're back, guys. Super exciting. 2 for 1 today. Hey, we sent out a video asking for some suggestions as far as content, which you guys wanted to hear, so we got some great feedback on that.
And we got feedback.
Yes.
We got responses.
People watch our videos.
These little wins that we
People
live for.
like us. Going in no particular order, although Chris was the first one to respond, so we're going to go in a particular order at this point. Shout out to Chris Suter, longtime client of mine, and he suggested discussing 1031s, timelines, kind of what that process looks like, and kind of in conjunction with multiple properties. So, is that what we're going to talk about?
So 1031 exchanges, some people that aren't investors might not really know even what that term means.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us what a 1031 exchange
For sure.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so 1031 exchange, and there is some confusion with that. Basically, it's also known as a Starker exchange. 1031 is a tax code that pertain to that. That's why they call it 1031 exchange. So basically, it applies only to investment properties. I had a call maybe 2 weeks ago, and somebody's selling a property out in Hawaii, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do a 1031." I'm like, "Wait, is that an investment?" They're like, "No, we live there." I'm like, "Okay, well."
It's not the same thing.
Not the same
Can't do
thing,
that.
so there is a little confusion. So first and foremost, has to be an investment property. Could be a primary that got moved to an investment property. We can kind of deep dive more on that later, but currently has to be an investment property. When you go to sell the property, basically is what you're doing is you're deferring the taxes. So unlike a normal sale, primary residence, you have a capital gains exemption up to $500,000. If you're married, $250,000 if you're not. There is no capital gains exemption generally when you're selling an investment property. So not just the big boys, the little investors too have the opportunity to do this. But basically is what you're doing is when you go to sell the property, you find a replacement property and you essentially roll the proceeds into the next property to avoid paying capital gains taxes. But there's rules with it.
Yes.
So it gets a little sticky on the rules and the timelines.
Yes, there are rules with it. So one is your purchase has to be at or above the amount that you have sold the subject property for.
Or properties.
Or
plural.
properties,
Yeah.
yes. So explain that to us.
Yeah, 300,000 has to be 300,000 or more. $500,000 or more. You can mix and match, so you can sell multiple properties. You can consolidate into one. You can sell one property. You can expand to multiple. Like properties, and the definition is all that means is like properties is real estate, more or less.
It's very gray. There really is no definition of like property.
Exactly.
Ironically.
Exactly. So you can sell land. You can parlay the land into a duplex. I could then sell the duplex. I could put that into a little mini mansion. I could sell that by a little 4-6 unit manufactured home community, so on and so forth, all the way up to apartment buildings, all the way up to
real
Sears Towers,
real estate for real estate, really.
Everything between, from a 1-bedroom condo or a little slice of land all the way up to the Empire State Building, everything in between.
Yeah.
Timelines, this is the important one.
Yes, this is huge.
Stick to the timelines.
Yes.
So timelines, your turn, go.
45 days to identify.
Yep.
And 180 days to close.
To close.
Non-negotiable. These are like, for a 1031 exchange to work, these timelines have to be adhered to.
Correct. So the clock begins when your property you're selling closes, not when you listed it, not when you're under contract. Clock begins. 45 days starts to identify. You could identify up to 3 replacement properties for the sale of the relinquished property, and then from there you have 180 days. And a lot of people are like, well, why would I have 45 to identify, but 180 days to close? Well, keep in mind, sometimes people are selling multiple properties, and you got to get the timing to work. So these can kind of sometimes be a little staggered in sorts with the closings. You do have to work with an intermediary that specializes in 1031s. They work in conjunction with your realtors, Ashley Jonas, of course. And then they'll also work with the escrow company.
Yes.
You cannot touch the funds. The money cannot hit your account. You can't sell, throw it into your account, and then go and buy something later. Second you do that, you've now created a taxable event. With an asterisk. The asterisk being, we're not tax advisors.
I was just going to say, we're not tax
investment
advisors.
counselors or CPAs. Should have started that at the beginning part of the video, so we're going to throw that towards the tail end.
So take the last 4 minutes and 43 seconds with a grain of salt.
Start here, rewind, and then start over. I did a 1031 recently about 2 years ago, when we sold a property out here in Gilbert, parlayed it into a multifamily property. So I sold land, parlayed it into a triplex, prime example. So yeah, so that's it. And then, you know, like I said, kind of divide and conquer. If you want to mix and match properties, if you want to do 1 for 1, if you want to do 2 for 1. I've got a client right now I'm working with. He's out in Colorado. He's selling 3 properties out there. No longer makes sense in that market. We're going to be shifting out here. So he's plans on either selling 3 there and buying 2 here, or selling 3 there and also buying 3. So we haven't figured that out. We're going to kind of look to see what the mix and match looks like.
Yeah.
But I know it's a lot. There's some great information on this online, but we just kind of wanted to do the Cliff Notes version for everyone, so you don't have to sift through a bunch of websites and info. But
well, and sometimes reading the stuff online too, it can be dry and confusing and wordy. And so if you have an investment property, or if you have questions about what constitutes as an investment property, or you want to know about 1031 exchanges,
yes,
we can definitely help walk you through that. We also have the intermediary. Thank you.
It's a big word.
We have those too. Yeah. So like whatever you need, you just let us know, and our Rolodex is yours always. Yeah. So just let us know what you need.
Appreciate you guys as always. Hopefully there's some good content for you here.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.